Hello everyone, and today I prepared something special for y'all. So I figured out that there are still people left who didn't watch the earliest episodes of Skibidi Toilet, or didn't see the series at all, but are still interested in knowing more about it. And, well, long story short, I summarized the whole show in just one video, guys, where I broke down the whole timeline of Skibidi Toilet and chose the most important events and characters to talk about. And if you're actually aware with the plot of the series but don't remember everything that happened in the beginning of it, then this video is also perfect for you because I saved the most important moments and secrets since the earliest days of Skibidi Toilet as well. Okay, and now let's dive straight into it. So get your tea and snacks ready because this video is going to be quite lengthy. And also be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel because it took me a lot of effort to make such a video for you guys. Okay, and now let's move on to the series. So the very first episode of Skibidi Toilet was published on the 8th of February in 2023, where it showed the iconic male 07 toilet singing the signature Skibidi song. And at the time, it was nothing but a meme video that the creator called Dafook Boom was animating quite a lot on his channel. But it happened to go crazy viral among the Gen Alpha kids. So Boom decided to turn the video about the funny singing toilet with the human head into a series of videos. And that's how 6 more episodes appeared, which still were nothing more than meme videos with no clear plot line yet. But those 6 episodes still featured a couple of significant details and characters that would play an important role later on. The human figure of G-Man was actually foreshadowing G-Man the toilet who was to appear in 7th episode exactly, and this guy was meant to become the iconic villain and a face of the whole Skibidi Toilet brand for a really long time. So the actual plot started to appear only by the 7th episode where we saw the shadow of the cameraman POV, although we saw first cameraman even earlier, for example this black cameraman in the 4th episode who will later become the important side character. So here's how the basic plot of early Skibidi Toilet looked like. A strange virus outbreak happened in one of the big cities that later spread out all over the Earth. And this virus caused human beings to slowly degrade and turn themselves into the creatures that had human heads on the literal toilets, who were called Skibidi Toilets as they sang the Skibidi Dop Dop Yes Yes song after getting infected. And G-Man Toilet, who appeared in 7th episode, was linked to the virus outbreak directly, and it was heavily implied in the series that he could be the one who started the whole Skibidi plague on this planet. So in order to counterattack the spreading infection that was targeting the humans, the organization called the Alliance was created, which was initially consisting of the robotic creatures with cameras instead of their heads named cameramen. And at first we could still see the humans who were also on the streets together with cameramen, but later the humans disappeared almost completely from the series until the most recent episodes, and only the members of the Skibidi army and the Alliance could be seen in the confrontation among each other. So in the earliest episodes, we see how Skibidi Toilets were spreading throughout the city and slowly conquering it with the giant monuments of toilets and images of male 07 toilet, who was the very first Skibidi to appear in the show. They even got their own Skibidi priest by the 10th episode, as well as the other larger and more powerful Skibidi Toilets who introduced themselves to the series as more time passed. But the cameramen were updating their own forces as well. So they got the advanced weapons and technologies to attack Skibidi Toilets with, as well as elite agents who appeared to be specially trained to take down the most important and dangerous Skibidi Toilets. The very first elite agent was this cameraman in the red shirt and a black CCTV camera who appeared in the 9th episode, carelessly trotting away from a bunch of Skibidi, and then flushed the Skibidi priest in 10th episode. But if we'll check the full versions of the first 10 episodes that Boom published on his channel later, then we'd see that different elite cameramen already appeared in the first 4 episodes, which meant that the Alliance as an organization already existed during the earliest stages of Skibidi infection. Okay, and as more dangerous Skibidi Toilets appear, we see the emergence of big cameramen and other major technical upgrades that later have to be balanced out by G-Man himself, who starts going to the battlefield with his deadly lasers, and then the flying toilets start appearing as well. And by the way, do you see this huge flying toilet from episode 13? This guy will be important for us later. But the first major shift in the dynamics of the series plot happens in episode 16 when we see Skibidi Scientist for the first time, who is basically an old scientist sitting in the small toilet which can be explained by the fact that he wasn't meant to participate in battles during the earliest episodes, but to work solely in the laboratory while creating upgrades for Skibidi Army instead. And him and G-Man were the key members among the Skibidi toilets, as G-Man looked like a leader and battle commander, while Skibidi Scientist served as a mastermind behind the scenes. By episode 18, the Alliance finally gets their first Titan, which is basically a giant destruction machine against any Skibidi toilet. And this awesome guy was called Titan Cameraman. And by the way, his appearance in the earliest Skibidi series looked very different from his latest design, but we'll come to that. So Titan Cameraman flexes his powers on the battlefield until episode 20, where he had to face against G-Man, who injured him quite badly with the lasers that hit his core, so the Titan had to flee. Then in episode 21, we see the scene of interrogation where Cameraman captured one of Skibidi toilets in order to get some inside information from him regarding his leader G-Man, and later in the series we'll see that Skibidi toilets were doing pretty much the same interrogations as well as both parties plotted against each other. We also figure out that G-Man is sort of immune to flushing as he's more advanced species than regular Skibidi toilets, so it's not possible to put him down that easily. In episode 23, we see Titan Cameraman getting his repairs and upgrades from his last fight with G-Man in the cameraman's laboratory, where we see cameramen, engineers, and scientists for the first time. Their laboratory also gets raided by a bunch of regular Skibidi toilets, but their whole plan turns out to be unsuccessful. And then in episode 24, we see how the powers of cameramen are not enough already to beat Skibidi toilets. And that's when the new race called Speakermen shows up and joins the Alliance. Or, well, should I say, form the Alliance actually, because this was the moment when more than just one cameraman's race started fighting against Skibidi toilets. And if cameramen were more skilled with tech and distanced weapons, then Speakermen's unique abilities were the sound waves, which they could use to stun the opponents from their head speakers, as well as melee combat and also extremely fun personalities. And we could also see the Speakerman with the black speaker and the red shirt dancing at the end of this episode, who was then meant to appear in the series much later in a form of an elite Speakerman agent. In episode 26, we see the appearance of another Titan, and this time it's Titan Speakerman, who looked even more badass than Titan Cameraman and also possessed an insane amount of aura. But it was clear to us at that point that the Alliance was starting to get way too overpowered, so it was obvious that something had to come from Skibidi Toilet's side at them. And at first it was the mysterious Glitch Toilet who appeared in episode 29 while possessing some extra futuristic technologies we've never seen in Skibidi Army before. And hey, there was also a camera woman in there. And to add to this new Glitch Toilet enemy, we were also shown in episode 30 how Skibidi Scientist captured a bunch of cameramen as well, and then exposed one of them to the Skibidi parasite, who basically took the control over its host's whole body and made them fight on the Skibidi toilet's side. But as it later turns out, the Skibidi Scientist's goal was not just the regular agents of the Alliance, but a bigger fish. And to be more precise, it's Titan Speakerman, who unfortunately gets possessed by the Skibidi parasite in episode 32, and since that he started fighting together with G-Man against his own kind. And we also see the appearance of the very first Skibidi mutant, who also has a toilet tank but uses the body of a fallen agent as well. And aside from being hella creepy, these mutants were also more agile and fast in comparison to regular Skibidi toilets. Another plot shift happens in episode 34, where the possessed big cameraman in the red shirt gets captured by his former comrades. And by the way, it's not the last time we'll see this guy, as he's meant to become an important side character as well. The parasite gets removed from him, and we also see this one particular cameraman scientist standing in the background during that scene. And I believe that he was the one who created the anti-parasite cannon, which was capable of curing the hosts of the parasites from the distance. This weapon later gets successfully tested in the same lab, but it gets raided by G-Man together with Titan Speakerman. And we can see that the weapon is not good enough to work on the infected Titan, so it needs more polishing. Thankfully, the cannon gets saved, and in the next episodes we see it getting upgraded and used in battles even more. The ultimate goal was to create a more powerful version of anti-parasite cannon to bring Titan Speakerman back, which was almost done in episode 38. But unfortunately, the Titan got covered by one of G-Man's decoys. And what decoys, you can ask me? Well, after the war between the Alliance and Skibidi toilets became really heated, the original G-Man laid quite low and instead created multiple clones of himself to serve in the battlefields, because Skibidi scientists' technologies allowed him to do that and not risk the original self too much. And just in the moment when it might seem that the Alliance was doomed, another race appeared, and this time it was TV Men, who is still the most mysterious race of the whole Trinity, as the motives of these guys caused a lot of questions for me from the start. They seemed much more chill and cold-blooded than both cameramen and speakermen, and they were not only pragmatic, but also awfully cruel, which even made me doubt their good intentions a couple of times. But their hypnotizing TV glow abilities made them the most powerful and dangerous members of the Alliance, which also worked perfectly well on Skibidi toilets. And then we also saw the appearance of the big TV man who is named Polycephaly among Skibidi fans. And trust me, this guy is really cool, and he would show himself a lot later in the series. And as if it wasn't enough, Titan TV Man also joined our party in episode 41. And that changed the power balance in the whole Skibidi universe drastically. We were also shown that TV Men's purple glow was capable of affecting Skibidi parasites as well. But Skibidi toilets got themselves protective sunglasses real quick, which made TV Men not all that powerful. And by the way, in episode 43, we could see a very sus moment where TV Men easily chose to abandon the battle. And even though the small squad of cameramen got the reinforcements quick, that still seemed way too cold. Then in the next episode, we saw Titan TV Man showing up with one clear goal: to lure out and catch the infected Titan Speaker Man and help him get rid of the parasite. And by the way, in this episode, he was also using speakers on his body, which made him whole freaking Titan Cinema Man. And we also saw the red glow from his TV screen in use, which was simply fatal for all the Skibidi nearby, as it caused them to unalive themselves with no protection on. Then episode 45 happens, and it's one of the most crucial episodes in Skibidi Toilet series. Firstly, we see the fight among both Titans and how Titan TV Man tries to reach Speakerman's back and pull out the parasite and fails. So Titan Speakerman flees, which triggers the chase plotline. Secondly, we see Plunger Cameraman for the first time, who will be an extremely important character later. And thirdly, there is a mysterious guy standing behind that window who looks exactly like Boom, the creator of Skibidi series himself, and his codename is the Secret Agent. So Titan TV Man teleports to chase the Speaker Man. And we see the Secret Agent once again standing next to the tree, which means that he's no usual human being and is able to teleport as well. By episode 47, we see Speakerman luring TV Man to G-Man's trap, and the Titan almost fries the clone of the Skibidi commander up, but gets ambushed by other opponents, which makes him to teleport again. In the end of this episode, we see the Secret Agent again, who seems to collect the data from the damaged POV cameraman. In episode 48, we act as the exact same cameraman scientist who invented and upgraded the anti-parasite cannon as he fights together with Plunger Man in the streets. But he gets unfortunately sliced in two halves by this Skibidi chainsaw toilet, but later we'll find out that he managed to survive. Then TV Woman appears in the series and saves one cameraman in episode 49, who later will fall in love in her for that. TV Woman is one of the most powerful TV agents, and she's an incredibly important character. Then we learn that the cameraman's base gets attacked by the powerful Skibidi, but the upgraded Titan cameraman shows up and gets everything in order. By this time, he receives a huge bunch of awesome upgrades, such as the giant hammer, an energy shield, core upgrade, and more advanced armor and equipment in general. In episode 51, we see Titan Cameraman's POV as he's easily destroying multiple toilets with Plunger Man also assisting him. And he also fights this weirdly shaped toilet who, as it turns out, one of the very first Astro toilets appearing in the series. And do you remember the giant flying toilet back in episode 13? He was the Astro toilet, as well as it was confirmed by Boom personally. But who are those Astro toilets? For the long time, I considered them to be a completely different branch from Skibidi toilets, who were just fighting on the same side at some point, with more advanced technologies and unknown origins. But with most recent episodes, it started being clear to us that Astro toilets and Skibidi toilets could actually have the same root. But we'll get to it later. And before that Camera Woman agent gets revealed to us, who is a skilled, distanced fighter, who also seems to be really close with Plungerman, as if they knew each other before. And then we see another Astro toilet that I call the UFO toilet, who shows the ability to move at ultrasound speed as if his kind arrived from far space. but the Alliance is more focused on getting the troops and the tank with anti-parasite cannon to Titan Speakerman's current location in order to finally get him back on their side. And meanwhile, episode 54 also happens, where we see the exact cameraman who got saved by TV Woman before, and he's clearly simping for her. Thus, he was named as Simp Cameraman. And unfortunately, it looks like TV Woman was not sharing his feelings at all. But we also saw the return of Cameraman Scientist, who got cut in 2 pieces, and he successfully got himself a cool cyborg suit with advanced weapons and equipment. Glitch Toilet also shows up to the party, but gets stunned by TV Woman's violet TV glow. So Glitch Toilet then gets obtained by Mecha Scientist Cameraman and then examined due to his unique technologies. We're getting back to the Alliance that keeps moving towards Titan Speakerman with the anti-parasite tank guarded by Titan Cameraman. But he gets distracted by the UFO toilet, and the upgraded cannon gets destroyed by Skibidi. But Titan Speakerman still gets surrounded by the Alliance's agents, and also faces Titan Cameraman, who tries to immobilize his friend to remove the parasite later. One of G-Man's clones tries to stop him but gets washed out. Meanwhile, we see how Plungerman was hurt in the inadequate attempt to help Titan Speakerman, who was thrown right next to the other victim, Simp Cameraman. Titan Cameraman survives an unsuccessful attack from the Skibidi parasite, and then TV Woman shows up and finally heals Titan Speakerman from the parasite in his body. Then she takes the injured Plungerman and teleports away while leaving Simp alone, which is one of the most tragic scenes for Skibidi fans. Okay, so Titan Speakerman is back, and the rest of Speakerman also returned to the stage. And then episode 60 happens, which makes the plot of the whole show much more complicated. It turns out that G-Man was somehow connected to ISOTOILETs, whom he supposedly betrayed, and that's why they tried to destroy him. But it turns out that it wasn't the real G-Man again, but one of his decoys, and it was in fact a trap from Skibidi Scientist, who planned on ambushing ISOTOILETs, but they fled. And now, Skibidi Scientist also created a huge puppet for himself in order to participate in battles too. In the meantime, another important character gets introduced to us, which is Speaker Woman, and she's my best girl. Extremely powerful in melee combat, witty, great taste in music, what can be better? And then in episode 63, we get the Speakerman in the red shirt and with the black speaker back, who initially appeared back in episode 24. He's the Dark Speakerman, another elite agent, and he's not the only one to return. Plungerman is also back, who was repaired and upgraded in Mecha Scientist's lab, and he's got a glitch wheelchair to fight in, which was created based on the captured glitch toilet technology. And I also must mention this cameraman in the red shirt and blue suit, who is Lucky Cameraman, as he appeared in the series before in dangerous situations but always managed to survive. He'll be extremely important later. The Titans keep moving towards G-Man and Skibidi Scientist, but the latter escapes, leaving G-Man decoy to them, and as they defeated G-Man, we saw exactly that it was just a clone operated by another Skibidi. It was just an ambush from Skibidi Scientist as well, so Titans got badly hurt in the end. And then we're moving on to episode 66, which officially starts the bunker plotline. The Alliance keeps chasing Skibidi Scientist and the original G-Man, so they arrive to this Skibidi base where they were hiding. And it's way too dangerous out there, so the majority of agents get teleported to the TV Men's laboratory. Meanwhile, we see the Lucky Cameraman's POV, who turned out to be an apprentice of the secret agent all this time, who was constantly observing what was going on in the whole series and collecting information. The secret agent gives Lucky the special remote controller and teleports to the bunker. Meanwhile, Titan Cameraman and Titan Speakerman find Skibidi Scientist and start a fight with him as a revenge for all the sufferings of Speaker Titan he had to endure while controlled by a parasite. And Plungerman wants to participate as well, but gets knocked down by the big boys. Then Titan Cameraman nearly gets self-destroyed due to Skibidi Scientist using the TV screen with a red glow while Titan Speakerman tries to save him. But the course of this hopeless battle changes completely when the upgraded Titan TV Man shows up and easily destroys the scientist's puppet, while also making G-Man flee, who appears to be the original Jimmy this time. Then multiple G-clones get thrown at him, which allows Titan TV Man to show all his new cool abilities, such as teleporting a hand with a sword near the opponent and catching him off guard. Meanwhile, the vision of the secret agent appears in front of the POV Big Cameraman's camera, who tells him to follow the original Skibidi Scientist that got out of the destroyed puppet. The scientist flees to the Skibidi bunker, and the members of the special infiltration squad follow him. which include the Dark Speakerman, Lucky Cameraman, several Speakermen, and 2 cameramen in the green suits. And Plungerman also manages to enter the bunker at the very last moment, although it clearly wasn't intended to happen. And Lucky Cameraman, who is actually following the plan of the secret agent, takes the initiative and starts showing the way to the scientist's location in the bunker for the rest of the guys, which causes distrust in Plungerman. Starting from the second part of episode 68, we see the events from his POV, and he's the first to notice the weird behavior of Lucky. But before that, the squad faces Skibidi Kleiner, who is another important scientist from the Skibidi side, and starts suffering the first losses. The squad keeps getting deeper into the bunker's bowels where the real Skibidi scientist and G-Man were hiding. Soon they start getting chased by Michael Jackson Skibidi, who destroys 2 green-suited cameramen right in front of Plungerman, which causes a meltdown in him and makes him to unleash his anger onto the Dark Speakermen, who chose to close the door and save the rest of the squad at cost of those 2 cameramen. Meanwhile, outside of the bunker, the Alliance's agents got another wave of their significant upgrades, including the Titans. And the Titans also plan to infiltrate the base from the alternative entrance, while another portion of agents enter the bunker. Then, episode 70 starts a new arc, and this time our POV is the big cameraman with the red plasma gun. He follows the Titans' route, who are destroying everything on their way until the upgraded DJ toilet shows up in front of him. And this character is just a popular comedy relief since the 6th episode of the show. And he gets destroyed immediately by this Astro Toilet, who is called Astro Detainer. And this guy even catches Titan TV Man off guard with his abilities as he basically declares war. Then we're getting back to the infiltration squad that keeps moving to their goal. And on their way, they entered the hidden room inside the bunker with lots of secret information regarding the secret agent, the Alpha Hills facility, and its experiments sponsored by the government, Skibidi scientist, and his connections to Astro Toilets. And Lucky Cameraman also gets destroyed by this Skibidi with claws and TV screen. Well, at least that's how it looked like at first. Only Plungerman and the Dark Speakerman managed to survive, and in the end they finally get to Skibidi scientists, and we also see how they were made invisible by one of the green-suited cameramen that seemed to pass away earlier. We then see Skibidi scientist communicating with the secret agent, who basically tells him that his days are numbered, and he's about to get destroyed by his pawn, referring to Plungerman. So the epic fight starts, in the process of which the reinforcements come to help us, but unfortunately too late for the Dark Speakerman. Skibidi scientist is retrieved of all the ways to escape and gets battered up all the way around. In his last attempt to flee, he gets caught by the trio of Titans that provide him the most miserable and painful passing possible. And that's how Skibidi scientists cease to exist. And then Plungerman gets revealed how Lucky and the green-suited cameramen didn't really die, but were acting according to the secret agent's plan all along. Then, the secret agent connects to Plungerman and tells him about Astro Toilets, aka the bigger threat than Skibidi Toilets, who were coming to destroy our planet. And then he tells Plungerman that he doesn't need him anymore, causing Plungerman's body to fail right in front of Camera Woman, who loved him. And then we were shown how Plungerman's recorded memories were studied by Detective Cameraman in the special facility, which later let him connected all the dots between his death and Lucky Cameraman's suspicious actions. Meanwhile, we're also shown that the original G-Man was controlling the departure of the special cargoes, and that's why he couldn't help Skibidi scientist in battle. And in episode 71, we see the assembled members of his G-Squad for the first time. Then we're getting to the mecha scientist's shoes raving on the battlefield with his upgraded creation camera Strider. But the party cuts off when G-Man himself appears, who keeps relocating the cargoes from the base to another place. But Astro Detainer shows up again and messes up with G-Man's plan, as he's intended to fight the treacherous commander according to his own words. 2 giants start fighting, and in the end, G-Man comes out as victorious. But a new Astro Toilet named Astro Juggernaut shows up in time and takes the damaged Detainer away. Meanwhile, the Alliance's forces also catch up, and TV Man Scientist takes the fallen claw of Astro Detainer to the TV Men's laboratory to prepare a new generation of upgrades for the Alliance's soldiers. By episode 73, we get the Camera Woman POV, who rewatches all her flashbacks featuring the late Plungerman. That's how we learn that she, Plungerman, Mecha Scientist, and also Lucky Cameraman used to be in the same group called Group C when they were still humans and worked together on the same project. Her human name was Kathy, and Plungerman's was Dave. and they were also in love one with another. Then Camera Woman flies to another Skibidi base where human survivors were actually hiding, but G-Man stops her from proceeding in her mission. All the Titans show up as well, and we learn that G-Man is capable of speaking human language, and he tries to tell Titan TV Man that the Alliance needs him. But of course, the Titan brushes his words off and starts a fight. And although the Titans got damaged significantly, G-Man himself got almost cooked in the process and had to flee again. Meanwhile, Camera Woman found the actual human survivors inside this Skibidi base, which meant that some humans still avoided the fate of getting infected. Then, episode 74 begins, and this is the core episode for the latest Skibidi Toilet seasons. We see a new elite TV Man character who is working on TV Man scientist directly, and he finds the special document indicating that G-Man used to be an Astro Toilet himself but betrayed this faction for some reason and then united with Skibidi scientist. He also finds the infected humans that were getting turned to Skibidi form via the song playing for them, so it's possible that it was G-Man who started this whole infection as he arrived to the Earth. We also learn that TV men are cooking their own plan regarding G-Man that they keep secret from the other races in the Alliance. Meanwhile, Titan TV Man shares the information about the current G-Man and his G-Squad location as he plans to go there and destroy them. But then TV Man scientist shows up and commands his Titan to bring G-Man alive to the base, because TV Men apparently plan to team up with G-Man in order to survive against the new, awful threat, which is Astro Toilet's faction. And then a second after an Astro attack starts, and this time it is massive, as Astro Toilets obviously plan to conquer the whole Earth and destroy both the Alliance and Skibidi Toilets. During the attack, Titan Cameraman disappears, and many consider him to be dead. Meantime, Lucky Cameraman tries to infiltrate back to the Alliance while appearing gravely injured, as that was also a part of the secret agent's plan for him. He was moved to the medical facility where he was arrested by Detective Cameraman, who learnt of Lucky's Suez connection to Plungerman's death. The Earth gets raided by the countless new types of Astro Toilets who are bigger, more advanced, and dangerous than the previous ones we saw. So the Alliance had to unite with their former enemies, Skibidi Toilets, as they had a common threat now. We learn that some Skibidi Toilets and mutants are actually really smart, and are able to speak in human language themselves, but preferred not to do that until recently. Meanwhile, cameramen start using the technologies of the fallen Astro Toilets that lead to their new generation of upgrades. Mecha Scientist upgraded himself and Camera Strider even more, and now he's in the leading position on the battlefield together with other elite agents. Meanwhile, TV men start behaving even more strange and cruel, which cause a huge discord among them and cameramen. We also see the appearance of the very first female Astro Toilet called Astro Duchess, who speaks in Skibidi language, which makes me think that there are even more connections between Astro and Skibidi Toilets as they originated from the same root. And then episode 77 begins, and at this point we're still waiting for the final fourth part to come out as I'm making this video. The Alliance keeps searching for more human survivors, but Astro Toilets are intended to destroy everyone on Earth. G-Squad members finally unite with the Alliance, and now it's only G-Man left who is supposed to become our ally as well. We also learn that Astro Toilets are supposedly operating by smaller creatures from inside, similar to how Skibidi parasites or head crabs from Half-Life games work. We also get revealed that G-Squad members used to be humans as well, who worked in the Alpha Hills facility as Special Government Objects Defense Service in 1986, and the secret agent already caused a lot of questions in them. Then we also see the upgrades of Camera Woman, who is now using the plungers of her late lover as a tribute to him and acts like a leader of cameramen's race. More huge and dangerous Astros show up, which get countered by Titan TV Man, who recklessly throws himself to the battle. By the end, he demands even stronger opponent, and that's when Astro Juggernaut appears. But then we learn that it was all according to TV Men's special plan, actually, and the Titan knew of everything that was supposed to happen. And that's where the current plot of Skibidi Toilet series ends, as we're waiting for the new episodes to continue this crazy story. And that was all for today. Be sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos, and also to my Discord, where you can contact me directly and get lots of info for my subscribers only. And that was me, ISOTOILET. See ya!